Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And in this case, we're talking about a nationwide effort that's much more than a day. We're here with Lemonade Day, their CEO, Nicole Cassier-Mason. How are you doing, Nicole?
Oh, I'm fabulous. How are you?
Doing well. So we have a lot to talk about in terms of what you do, but let's start with a little bit of history. When you talk about Lemonade Day, it starts in 2007 with an entrepreneur. Give us a little bit of history lesson.
Yes, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and inventor, if you will, Michael Holthouse. He's a native Houstonian who got into the computer network services company by founding Paranet that he eventually sold to Compaq. And he's made his way around Houston in terms of inspiring nonprofits, one of them being Lemonade Day, that he founded because his daughter wanted to buy a turtle. Now, keep in mind, his daughter had probably had every other animal known to man in her possession. And he said no, and she did not like that answer. So he said, well, if you want it, you're going to have to find a way to buy it. She's like, I'm going to put a lemonade stand together and make my own money, but I need a little bit of help getting me started. And so he loaned her a little bit of money. She made a whole lot. She came to him with wads of cash in her hand, so excited. And he said, well, but wait, you need to pay your investor back. And she didn't have enough money to pay him back. And that is when he realized, as an entrepreneur and businessman himself, he had not imparted some of those really basic, vital skills on his own children. And he realized with his own children going to really well schools here in Houston, that it was lacking some of those foundational skills that the education system just wasn't prepared to impart on children. So he had that light bulb moment, and he realized if you could package a whole lot of education and find foundational soft skills by way of a lemonade stand, that quintessential youth business, that you could really change the trajectory of a child's life. So it all started with his daughter and a turtle.
Hey, and so when you look at what you're doing, obviously for youth to learn early on the power and obviously the skills of entrepreneurialism, and then you look at obviously now it's so much more than that, but really pouring into youth to teach them relationship building, investment, like money management, financial literacy, all of these things are packaged together with everything that you're doing with Lemonade Day. And so, as I mentioned, now a nationwide program. Describe the program and how it works. So let's start unpacking this.
Yes, so it is an experiential entrepreneurial program that really is infused with life skills, character building, financial literacy, business acumen, mentorship. Mentorship is incredibly important because you are walking hand by hand with an adult who can go along with you so that the child has the most fruitful experience. And that was something that was very critical in the early days, where our founder, Michael Holthouse, he aligned with the Search Institute's 40 developmental assets, which are those assets any child needs to live a thriving, successful life. How do you look a customer in the eye? How do you keep your head up so that you can actually promote yourself and who you are and build trust in your community? Some of those skills that just frankly our education system isn't equipped to impart. And we package them all up where we align with STEM, we align with social emotional learning, and it's the experiential piece. We know it's been proven that kids retain about 80% more information through experiential learning. And that's the critical part, is that they have to bring their business to life.
So walk us through the timeline on this in terms of when the youth is starting out to all of the different things that they're learning through the modules, and then everything from picking the right location to then the actual Lemonade Day and the sale. So walk us through the timeline of how this plays out.
It aligns very much like any of us wanting to start our own business. You have to set a goal, you have to make a plan, you have to work that plan, and then you get to achieve your dreams with it. And it is all built around the tenets of save, share, and spend. So spend a little bit of your hard-earned money on yourself, save a little bit and open a banking account, and then share some so that you're good stewards of your resources. We are here to teach that capitalism isn't a bad word if you use your power for good. So if you're gonna make money, be a part of something bigger than yourself and commit to your community. And so we walk a kid hand by hand through the aspects of starting their own business and all of the varying components that you need in terms of not only having that business plan, but what does it mean to pitch your business plan to secure an investment? What does it mean to market it so you have a really creative brand that is distinguishable? Make sure that lemonade is good so that you sell a lot of it. So you got to have a good recipe, right? You got to have a really good storefront. So you have to have something that is going to attract people to it, and the location. Right? We've got some pretty interesting stories of kids who get really creative with their location of their business stands because they know it's going to attract the most customers. And then how do you sell it? How do you shake someone's hand? How do you look them in the eye and share your passions with them so they buy your product? And then let's make sure you learn about a little bit around that debt and credit and all of those important kind of basic financial literacy skills that sadly most kids don't even know about until late in high school or college, if they're lucky.
I love that it's something that sounds so simple and yet it's so complex. Like when you look at it, like you're saying, there's all these little decisions that you have to make along the way. And with every step you're learning. And so you're learning and growing. Just really, really cool opportunity to take something as, like you said, something that every child, okay, lemonade day, selling lemonade, but yet really making it a successful business and unpacking what does that mean and all those steps and decisions along the way. Walk us through how this works in terms of, as I mentioned, nationwide. So you have local chapters and offices and people designated in different cities, and then all over, people as parents can step in and go directly to you. And you've got apps and you've got technology and materials and everything. So walk us through in the different cities how this works.
So 2007, we were started. We're headquartered here in Houston, Texas. We are now in 86 cities across the country. We are a license-based curriculum program where we have basically created a program that is turnkey, so that we can sell it and empower boots on the ground. It's very much a community-based program to where we can work with partners, whether it's an in-school activity, an after-school activity, a church activity, to where we can go into a community, meet them where they are, find what their strengths are, and be able to empower them on the ground so they can essentially paint the town yellow, if you will. And we do this in a way so that it's an independently operated program that really aligns with the culture and the uniqueness of an individual community. But then we also have other packages where a single church or a single school or a single classroom could also engage with our program as well. So maybe they don't want to bear the responsibility of painting their city yellow through this community-wide aspect. So if they're not interested in a community-wide program, they can come to us more on a single site, single location type engagement. But then the technology piece. We came a little bit ahead of the curve with COVID in that our team really saw a need to pivot from printed workbooks. Just kids are learning in different ways today. They sadly are getting a lot of dirty information online. So if we're going to put a device in their hand, we're going to make it fun. And what's more fun than a lemonade stand? We get to educate kids and they don't even realize they're being educated because they're having too much fun with it. So we created this animated digital platform that's an app. It's called My Lemonade Day, and it walks kids very much through all of the steps, but where they get to learn it on their own pace and come to it differently, where if you're in a classroom, you're all learning in different ways. You're receiving information in different ways. Well, with this platform, you get to press a button, you get to press on a word and learn about it in a really cool animated way. And the mentor that gets to walk you through it is our little Lemmy mascot that holds the child's hand through this digital experience where you can access it anytime, anywhere without Wi-Fi.
I love it. This is such a sweet, literally a sweet opportunity. So for us as City Current, I know in Memphis and Nashville, we're excited to be able to open the doors and the floodgates to get people involved. I know Higginbotham, we're a part of the Higginbotham family, Higginbotham Insurance Group, and so many different offices all over the nation plugging in. So for companies, this is a really powerful opportunity. Talk about the corporate side for Higginbotham stepping in, what that looks like for other companies. Talk about kind of the corporate engagement and the ways to really plug in through mentorship and helping to lift.
Oh, well, first, let me thank Higginbotham, a brand new donor that has joined our team, and we're incredibly grateful for the power that they're going to help us unlock in terms of being able to access more kids. So our program, even though it's a license-based program, the way that we are able to make the curriculum free is through the power of donations. So that is where corporations, individuals, foundations really help make that a free, low barrier program that kids can access. And the license fee comes into more of the package program elements that someone can really make the program bigger and better. But the mentorship piece, that comes through corporate volunteers. It's not just parents. Right. I mean, I think we all hope and aspire that parents are kind of that built-in mentor of every child, but not everyone is as fortunate to have the parent who can walk them through this experience. So that's where corporate volunteers come in. It's a great way to connect with employees to really do a lot of service learning where they can in turn be partnered with the youth and walk them through the program.
What's been the feedback from obviously the youth going through the program, but the parents as well, seeing their children grow and mature and build their confidence? What's been some of the feedback you've received?
Ooh, so I've got a couple of favorite stories that I hope you'll let me entertain me. Let me share. One of the most favorite was a parent who, it's a Hispanic family. He was registering his children for it. And he wanted to get a workbook and a backpack himself, not just for his children. He came back. We saw him at another event. He talked about how much money his kids made and talked about the charity that they contributed to. But what was really shining is he said he himself went through the program. He owned a landscaping business, and he walked through all of the lessons to where he was able to turn his business around for profitability. And he said, if I had had this experience when I was younger, I would not have endured the same level of financial hardship. And we hear that a lot. More than 70% of our parents wish they had something like this, because at that critical age, we focus on kindergarten through 8th grade, but our sweet spot is about 3rd through 6th grade. And that is when you have this core developmental aspect in terms of a child's brain development. And if you are imparting those skills at that age, it is proven that it is even more going to free you from a lifetime of burden because you've introduced it at the right time. And so that's the big one. But then the other is a parent watching their child kind of come into their own, learn about their own aptitudes, this self-awareness, to see a kid who may shuffle their feet with their head down and slowly graduate to their head up, chin up, just like dreaming because they've made something, all by way of a lemonade stand, but they saw a dream of theirs come to life. And that's the thing. It gives them that ability, like, I can. That I can attitude is incredibly just encouraging, and it's contagious.
I agree. And I just look even, for our boys, how it really is special when you see them make eye contact with others and engage in a conversation. And obviously that's a big part of what you're talking about, engaging your customers and, how do you get the investment? And so just seeing them blossom. But I'm glad that you mentioned the carryover effect, the butterfly effect, the ripple effect with the parents, because I think when you look at like financial literacy and banking and things like that, the youth have a powerful opportunity to parlay that knowledge up to the parents, and you create this really powerful ripple effect that I think many times we forget, where it's like, by pouring into our youth, we're also pouring into ourselves and other adults, and really creating these adult learners that lead to powerful opportunities for our community. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Talk about, ways to engage between the website. Where do we go to get more information? How do we start taking those next steps to say, hey, I want to do this. Let's get engaged. Where do we go? How do we start signing up?
Well, first things first, lemonadeday.org. That is our national website. And as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 ways you can really get engaged. That's a community-wide program. So if you want to be one of our licensed communities, you can literally take on the responsibility of painting your community yellow, bringing in banks, local government, parks, schools, after school programs, and really kind of anchoring a community. But then if you're a teacher or if you're a youth group and you're wanting to just take this program into your classroom, there's a way that you can also engage. But as I mentioned, sponsorship through charitable organizations help make the curriculum free. So by way of Nickelodeon, our new national sponsor, we have unlimited ability to unlock our curriculum, which is our My Lemonade Day app that children and parents can sign up for at no cost. And so if they go to our website, they would find those 3 pathways that they can engage with us. And we hope it's going to inspire them to do more and spread the good word. The more hands we can get this in, the better, I think, for all of us, because these kids are our future change makers. They're the ones that are going to be inventing things we can't conceive of now. And we've got to keep that fire lit in them. I mean, it's sad that children are born with this natural fire and this curiosity that dwindles over time. Let's keep it lit. Let's keep that going so that they continue to want to aspire to do more.
Absolutely. So tell them again the website. Where do we go to learn more about Lemonade Day?
www.lemonadeday.org. And follow us on social media. Sign up for our newsletters where you can keep engaged with us and all of the different things that we are cooking up.
Well, absolutely love it. Nicole, thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.